It's time for the Basic Gray collaboration, and I thought I would make some cards with you guys today. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome. It is time for the Basic Gray collaboration that I do with my friend Sarah, who's crafting and relaxing here on YouTube, and Kathy, who's Stampin' Cat over on Instagram. And each month we just pull out some of that basic gray paper we've been hoarding, and we just try to have some fun with it. So since it's September, I used this as a fall paper last year. And actually it does say autumn glaze. And so I used it for some fall cards. And I had one sheet left. I think I was saving it for this year, so I thought I would use that. And then I also had two 6x6 sheets. I'm not sure what it's from, but kind of like those golds and browns, kind of fallish colors. And then I have one sheet of this Halloween paper left. Is it Max and Whiskers, maybe? No. I don't know what it came out. No, it wasn't Max and Whiskers. That was something else. But I think I had pulled it out, these branding strips out, because of the color. I thought it would go with that. So we'll see. But I thought I would make some cards with you guys today using this paper and my scraps. I don't have a plan other than I know I want to make one fall slimline card because I have this piece that I put together probably last year, and just using up some old letters that I had cut from pattern paper, and thought that I would just put that on the front of a slimline card and maybe embellish a little bit. We'll see if there's how much room there is left. So anyway, that's the only plan I have so far. Otherwise, I just thought I would play.
So the first card I am going to make is my slimline card, and my card base is 4 by 9 inches. And so I'm going to take this really pretty kind of burgundy orange pattern, and I just trimmed it down so that it was 8 7/8 by 3 7/8, so it just leave a slight white border. Then I'm going to bring in that fall piece with my letters, and then I decided that the orange branding strip would work with these patterns, and so I'm just going to add it at the bottom just to add a little bit extra detail. And then I found some brown die cuts in my stash of leaves and gourds. So I'll just go ahead and put this on my card mat and kind of get it situated so that it's balanced the way I like it. And then add my strip. I don't always save branding strips anymore, but I do with Basic Gray just because, again, I can't get any more of that paper, and I just want to use it all and love it all. So I will add my my mat to my card base, and then we'll go ahead and bring in those little gourds and leaves. And I just felt like it needed something to kind of balance out that big open white space up in that right-hand corner. So once I get those on, I'm going to grab that second branding strip I had of that orange pattern and add it inside. And it's funny because that Max and Whiskers line is actually like the dog and cat collection that they had. Sarah actually just used it not too long ago for some journals. So I've already cut my pieces here. I'm switching to my A2 size cards. I've got a card mat that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then I just cut that kind of burgundy pattern paper into a 3 by 4 piece, and then matted it with some burnt orange that was 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I just thought it needed a little something to divide it. And then I have a strip of my matte paper that I just added to the inside because it was the perfect size. So I'm going to bring in a Happy Fall stamp and use this for my sentiment, and I just use some scrap white cardstock that I keep on my desk. Add a fishtail, and then I took some of the scraps of that burnt orange cardstock that I had for my like centerpiece mat there, and then just cut some more of those leaves and gourds, and I'm just going to use 2 of the leaves there on the right hand side or on the left hand side to balance out my sentiment and just add a little bit of extra detail. And that is it for the second card. Third card is just using up the last of those fall pattern pieces that I had. I figured I could do something with them together, and I know that kind of yellowish and brown patterns are not going the same direction, but I don't think it matters. So I have another Happy Fall sentiment that I had stamped, and then like I said, I'm just trying to use up the last bits of what I had cut of those 2 different pattern papers. So I'm just going to take the 2 yellow and brown strips and kind of create a mat, an extra mat there on my burnt orange cardstock piece, and then we'll just use that burgundy piece there in the middle. And again, trying not to cut into anything extra here, just trying to use up those last already cut bits. So I have this kind of wheat plant, for lack of a better word, sticker that I had cut out of some scrap vinyl a few years ago, and I just thought it would add a little extra detail there, and so I just decided to use it up and add it next to my sentiment. And then I had one little bit left of that yellow and brown paper, so I have already cut it into a fishtail, and we'll just stick that on the inside of the card. And that used up all of those scraps that I had cut today. Moving on to Halloween, the Halloween cat pattern was already cut at like a 4-inch square, so I just decided to leave it. And this one is, I haven't used card sketches yet. This one is a sketch that I've used enough that I don't have to pull it out. And so it just uses 2 different size squares. So I take that last little strip of the orange branding strip that I had, and I'm going to use it as a strip to go all the way across the card, and I'm just piecing it. Most of it will be hidden anyway. And then I brought in some scrap black cardstock and added it for that second smaller square there. I have a stamp set, Halloween stamp set, and I pulled out the little kitty cat, and I'm just going to stamp it and on some other scrap white cardstock, and then punch it out in a circle. This was thicker cardstock, and so I really struggled with that old punch that I had. Adding my sentiment onto some more white scrap cardstock, and we'll trim it down and add it onto the card. And I'm struggling with this one. I feel like it needs a little more, so I pulled out this little extra scrap of the Halloween cat and decided to add a little banner over there on the right hand side of the black square. And then I'm cutting the extra one to use on the inside of the card. Go ahead and add my cat and my sentiment. And then add that little strip there on the inside. And then this next Halloween card, I'm just using up the last bits of the cat paper scraps. And so I brought in some orange cardstock for my mat. It's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I'm going to use the back side of the cat paper as well, just to add some extra color onto the card. I stamped that kitty again and colored it pretty basically with a black colored pencil off camera. And then I have another Happy Halloween sentiment that I had stamped, and I'm just going to add it onto some black card mat and then add the fishtail to one end of both pieces there. And then we'll add that at the bottom of the green piece. Add my kitty cat on, and then after I get it onto my card base, I decided it needed a little bit something extra. And so I decided to bring in a small circle punch. Well, first I'm going to add that to the inside of the card. Bring in a small circle punch to cut some circles out of some of that scrap black cardstock I had. And then we'll just add those onto the right hand side, and I feel like that really helped finish off the card just a little bit more.
We made 6 cards, and I did save these 2 big pieces of the basic gray paper. That way I have some fall Halloween paper to play with next year for basic gray if we continue this collaboration. This collaboration is not about using up our basic gray, it's just about enjoying it. We've hoarded it for a reason because basic gray doesn't make paper anymore and we love it. So it's not necessarily about using it up, but it is about pulling it out of our stash and actually enjoying it instead of storing it away in our drawers. And I can't remember if I showed both stamp sets. The Happy Fall sentiment came from an old Scrapping for Less stamp set. And then the Happy Halloween and the cat were from this My Favorite Things Best Witches stamp set. And I'll see if this one's still available, and if so, we'll link it below. Scrapping for Less, Teresa retired, and so she closed Scrapping for Less, so that one's probably not available. But here are the 6 cards. We had the Slimline, and the rest are A2 cards. I did add some orange dots here because I thought it needed something, but I still don't love it. I did end up making 2 of this card. I made one with you and then one off camera, and then we have these other 2. So 6 cards, had some fun with basic gray. Please be sure to check out the links below to see what Sarah and Kathy made this month with their basic gray paper. And if you have basic gray paper and want to pull it out and play along with us and enjoy the fun patterns, please use the Bringing Back Basic Gray hashtag that will be linked in the description box below, and that way we can find your projects as well. But thank you guys so very much for your time today, and hope you all have a very crafty day.